Hello, branded players. This is Branded Player 23, and today we have a matchup on how to beat the next hot topic on TCG Yummy Mitsurugi. Before we start, hit the like button on more meta matchups. Let's get right into the video. All right, so we're right here in game one, and my opening hand has a double Yuki, Albion Shrouded, branded in high spirits, and branded in red. Now, this hand doesn't lose to draw, and Ash only prevents the lock. So in my turn one, first thing I do is that I dump branded retribution during the main phase with Albion, and then I follow through right there with activating branded in high spirits. So this will ensure I can play in the next turn as well, but also in this one, which is more important. And the follow up later with Titanic Lad will be for the best. So after that, Cartesia, use her effect to special summon itself, special summon um Grand Guignol, and then dump Saronir so I can get branded fusion into the graveyard. So at this point, I only had one card from the deck to my hand, and the opponent didn't trigger any draw, so we could add cards freely, but there's no need. I already have access to branded fusion, and I can resolve it, so I can do my plays. So adding branded fusion now, and it does get negated. So thanks to the follow up I created with branded in high spirits, now we can special summon Quem at the end phase with Titaniclad, and Cartesia returns to our hand. So basically, we have four interruptions without even resolving Rand Diffusion. One with Quem that we can resolve Falling of Alvas. We also have Crown Guignol, which would allow us to access either another Quem to dump another card, or we can access any of our Despias from our extra deck. And one more interruption that we have, it's branded in red set. So let's see what this opponent has. He has 5 cards, so let's see what we get to. First is that he summons Diviner of the Herald, so that's a dead giveaway that, yes, he may play rituals, but it's a light monster, so I've seen the news, a hot topic is Yami Mitsurugi, so I was already worried about having it. So I trigger Quem, then I'm like, you know what? Let's fuse. So I get my Mirror Jade on the field, and I didn't get to use it because he activated Triple Tactic Silent, and then he tries to access his Mitsurugi engine. So we also have a Kiri, special summon Saji, which will trigger my Grand Guignol, and I special summon my Quiritus. So the opponent eventually goes into his Mitsurugi ritual. Um, so basically, when the Murakumo popped, I I triggered my Quiritus, or I activate its quick effect to turn all monsters into 0. The opponent negates force. I still have one more interruption in hand if needed, but I don't think I will use this one. And on resolution, Quiritus triggers. He does activate prayers as a quick card here, but I bring my tragedy, and the reason behind it is because I have branded in red. So this will give me access to other parts that will be also good. The opponent does complete his Mitsurugi play, so basically he has a full board now, and he is able to swing for game here if needed. But the reason why he did this, to keep control, right? So he has enough damage here. He doesn't know what I have set, so he goes to battle phase and activate Branded in red. Surprise, surprise! And basically, what happens now is that I'm targeting Quem, so I will have 3 monsters to fuse: a Dark, a Light, and a Despia. So you know that means I'm gonna bring Quiritus, which is gonna stop all of his attacks, and he will be. Well, he did it. He already used the Sky Crisis effect, and during the end phase, I got a lot of follow up with Cartesia, Branded in High Spirits, Branded Banishment as well, getting set by Albion's effect. And I have a pretty good looking graveyard. I don't think I resolve Branded Fusion here in the next turn, but I'm able to. And I'm sitting on a position here because I did trigger Mirror Jade. What he has here, basically, it's nothing. I was able to trigger these 2 monsters effect because Habakiri will take 800 away from each monster. So yep, I'm looking pretty good now. So let's go into my turn. Normal summon Aluber, and what I want to do here is to get Branded Open into the graveyard as soon as possible because Murakumo has a Raigeki effect when it's summoned. So if I'm able to protect at least these two, I'm on my way to already beat the opponent, especially if I take this one out. So I'm doing my basically Branded +1 plays, getting the monsters out there. Already Branded Open in graveyard with hits. This is a pro play, by the way. I bring back Retribution because I'm controlling here. His only interruption, it's probably a prayers. If it was a, I don't really know what it is, but it's probably a prayers. But if it was a great purification, he has no access to it. Most likely a prayers. So he's gonna bring Murakumo back. So I call it for battle phase, and I start attacking his monsters. I'm about to swing for game, and he finally decides to do the prayers, but I protect with branded opening. Um, I hit myself with Mirror Jade, so basically, I could have won the game here, by the way, but I chose not to 'cause I just wanted to keep him under control.
Hello guys, Editor Blended Player 23 here, and one of the reasons why I also didn't choose to go for game here is because if the opponent had in their hand Ghostbell Haunted Mansion, it would have not only stopped me from getting game here, but also it would limit the amount of interruptions that I will get next turn. So in basic card economy, he will draw 3 cards, and I will have basically 3 interruptions if he will play with the extra deck. So it was just better to not go for game here, and eventually it turned out to be better. Let's see how it goes.
Set branded banishment. He negated the card. Everything is destroyed. So basically, it's a 4 against 2 cards. I'm pretty controlling here. Um, he got his Yummy cards. I just wanted to confirm he was playing Yummy, and indeed he was. Basically full negation of all Yummy cards. When he brings his one left, he one only body he has left. I trigger my Mirror Jade, and that's a game. So that was game one. All right, it's turn two, and I open Fualos, which should give me an advantage over the opponent. And this I cited in I have it in my pattern for Mitsurugi decks. Only should give me an advantage over the opponent, but he did open some cool surprises. We'll see there now. He goes into prayers. I trigger the Fualos. I thought I would draw a card here, maybe a glitch. There's some ruling I don't know about. Go standby main, and then he does a ritual from hand, adds purification, and then he sets dimensional barrier, so it's on. It's 4 cards against 5, but one of them already will restrict most of my plays. Now, Branded doesn't necessarily lose here unless they set 2 of them. Most people only play one and they think that when they activate it, it's a win condition, but this guy will find out that it's not. Um, we activate the Lightning Storm, they tribute Murakumo. So he already a special summon it. So if we get rid of it, it will go away. So after he triggers Murakumo effects, our triple tactic silence is live. So I can draw 2 cards. I discard, fortunately enough, Retribution, and then I draw Frost. And Falling of Valvas was on my hand. So let's see what I can come up with. I activate Frost special. Well, add this one Cartesian deployment will be the card that will let us play in his turn. It will let us survive rather than play because we're on a disadvantage here because of how many cards he has in hand. If it was only this card right here as the only interruption, that would be enough. But unfortunately, he has more cards to support him, and he does have the Jummy engine, which only requires 1 card, and he has enough follow up for next turn. So I special summon Artesia with Fusion Deployment, and my turn because there's nothing else left to do. And he summons the Herald, and the Herald will actually give him access to Armor Edge. Eventually, he does activate prayers. I trigger my Granguignol because he special summon a monster because of have a curious effect. That, and yeah, well, at this point, pops all my monsters, but I still have Granguignol's effect in graveyard. Um, he does an interesting play here because he special summoned Chaos Angel by synchro summoning with Divine of the Herald and Mitsurugi Murakumo. That should have been game, but he actually removes Chaos Angel with his own effect, which will give him enough space so he can do his Jami plays. A deck that on its own will win on a empty board. And from now on, He will dedicate himself to do all the yummy combos, and I think that will be all she wrote at that point. Because yeah, it returns my uh Grand Guignol, which was the only interruption I have. I try to play with Saturnier. There's not much to do here right now. All the yummies are pumped up, and the guy's ready to go for a game. For game three, I actually start with a pretty terrible hand. There won't be any branded fusion in this turn, but that does not mean we cannot play and interrupt. We have probably the best one card combo in the whole branded game and the genre surrounding it. So we start with a Dear Servant. This is basically the only play we have. He does for Wallace us, thinking that we're gonna be doing Fusion Palooza here, but he finds a terrible surprise that we already restrict ourselves from using the extra deck. So basic Nadir Serpent play, dump Garura at Maximus, then with Maximus, dump Titaniclad, and dump Branded in or Albion the Branded Dragon, which will basically let us play in his turn. Also, we thankfully enough have Branded in red in hand, which will increase our chances of playing. So what we do here is that we bring Quem with Titaniclad and Quem dumps Albas, so that makes our Branded in red going live. And then we set Branded Retribution, which will help us restrict a special summon. Most Mitsurugi decks start off from prayers, and in this case, restricting prayers from going live will be amazing. I don't know about this Miracle Raven play. I foolishly enough goes ogre its effect, and he eventually added another one. Because I didn't know what this was, I just triggered. I'm like, what is he trying to do? I'm not gonna let him do it. So after that, he gets one more body as Miracle Raven gets added to the extra deck. He had two, he played two, and then he goes into Relinquish Amina, which will actually trigger our Quem. This guy is trying to steal our Quem, and I'm like, no, dude, we're not doing that. So we do Albus, special summon, and then fusion summon with his own Relinquish Amina. So we can have a Mirror Jade. We have enough follow up with our Mercurier here, and the guy steals our Mirror Jade again. And then he tries to do Murakuma, and I'm like, no, dude, we're not doing that. And that's all she wrote. I guess he had a pretty more terrible hand than the one I had. But there you have it, guys. People have different thoughts about the Mitsurugi, the Yummy Mitsurugi variant. I pretty much like it. I saw some videos from Super Saiyan in 18 about how the deck does. It does lose to draw badly in most cases because you don't get you do get the best out of both engines, but some people don't like it. I personally like it, and I have even considered to play it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is Branded Player 23 signing out, guys. See you in the next one.